So there's this classic French dish. I made it once before. What the hell is happening? Well, I'm gonna try making it again. Think positive.
It's not as complicated as it looks. It's purely a question of technique.
Welcome everyone. This is just me and Jacques Pepin hanging here. I'm glad you could join us. I was thinking it is a good day to take another stab at the cassoulet. JP's Duck Cassoulet. Now you may have seen me make Julia Child's cassoulet. That was a long day in the kitchen. 2 words, pig nipples. I am very alarmed at the pig nipples on the skin. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to show that. That's just intense as hell. This classic one-dish meal of the southwest of France is a peasant dish, sturdy country fare. How it is made varies according to whoever is preparing it, but it always contains one kind of poultry, some sausage, and 1 or 2 kinds of other meat, including pork. In this recipe, I used duck and pork. Beans, lots of beans, that's a requirement too. And no pig nipples. Cut off the pig nipples because I just snipped those off. It's just a bit too much, quite honestly. This is the type of thing that doesn't necessarily need to be an all-day event. You can be preparing this throughout the week, using your leftovers in this stew. It's gonna be a one-day thing today. It's manageable, it's doable, I know it. But that's also something I would just innocently say at the beginning of a video like this. That's how I've made it this far. I should get to work. Here we go. Should be the colander in the bowl, right? Perfect. 2 pounds of Great Northern beans, or you can use navy beans. They're dried. And I gotta rinse them. How I just casually said Great Northern beans kind of makes it seem like I know what they are. Not really. I just saw it in the recipe and I was like, I'm never gonna find those things at the store. I'll find the navy beans instead. Then it ended up being the first thing I spotted in the store. 1 large leek, how about 2 smaller leeks? Some of the green. How about that? And then split it. If you don't rinse through the leeks, each like individual layer there, it can be a dish ruiner. You don't want that. 1 large peeled carrot and then cut in half. 1 large onion peeled and stuck with 2 cloves. 3 garlic cloves crushed. Cute little pouch that I just picked up. It's for my herbs like parsley, 4 sprigs. How about 2 teaspoons of dried thyme? Yeah, kind of divvy it out like you're up to no good. 1, better make it 2. I'm sure you know why, right? Keeping the road safe. Our bouquet garni. Pancetta. 2 large tomatoes, he says. These are bigger than, X marks the spot on the skin. And then they're gonna go into the simmering water for like a minute. Peel them. Out goes the stem, halve them. Okay, and then I gotta do this thing. It's kind of annoying, but it has to be done. I gotta seed them. Grapefruit spoon should do the trick. People have their least favorite tasks to do in the kitchen, I'm sure. I think one of mine is just removing the seeds from tomatoes. It's just a pain in the butt. And then we chop, stating the obvious, it's not tomato season. These tomatoes are not in season. Yes, I do see a few seeds in there, but I'm just gonna pretend like I don't. You're not gonna get them all. Dutch oven, tossing in those Great Northern beans and a tablespoon of salt and all the other stuff. Tablespoon of tomato paste, come on. 3 cups of chopped tomatoes, 1 pound piece of pancetta, 4 cups of chicken stock, 6 cups of water. Got it to a boil, skim off the froth, cover it, turn down the heat and simmer for like an hour and 30 minutes. A lot of people don't like washing poultry in the sink because they don't want the bacteria to spill all over the place. And I think if you're just careful about it, it's not gonna do that. I was just kind of gently washing it. I like to wash the duck because it has a bit of an odor to it sometimes. I've had some bad experiences. It smells like a dead duck. Anyway, that's my duck. It's a 6.28 pounder. Jacques is looking for a 5 pounder, so a little more. And then to my left here, of course, is a boneless pork shoulder. 5 pounds worth, that's what I got. He's looking for 3, but this is what I could find to make that work. So I guess I got 2 shoulders. That's fine too. So I'm gonna cook all of this, and if I have extra, well, I'll eat it when I'm not filming myself making a cassoulet. So there we have it. I dry my ducky. The neck is still very much attached. So yeah, we'll just give that the old snip. Hang tight. Season both the pork and the duck. Flip it over, flip it, wash them, dry them, season, crack up some black pepper. He's fairly liberal with it. Flip it over, flip it, wash them, dry them, crack the pepper. Okay, so just kind of, all right, so the duck goes into the roasting pan side by side with the pork shoulder. I don't think anything is gonna stick here because the duck is a fat machine. So does the pan need to be greased up? I doubt it. Also the pork I'm sure is pretty fatty too. Anyway, good talk. I'll be right back. Oven's been preheated to 375 degrees F, and then I'm gonna roast these for an hour and a half. And what's to come may shock you. Halfway through, I think it's a good idea to rotate, even browning. Probably wondering what the hell these are. Well, it's sausage, yeah, but it's kielbasa. It's like Polish sausage rather than, he gives me the option between garlic sausage or kielbasa. Boom. And what am I doing? What am I doing? Prick the sausage with a fork, yeah. This needs to go in with the beans. So I just get the lid back on. I keep that humming along for another 15. I gotta make sure I'm moving those beans because the ones on the bottom are cooking quicker than the ones on the top. The beans need to be tender, not mushy. Look out! I have a whole bunch of slices of stale white country bread. While we're waiting, let's make some breadcrumbs. All I need is 4 slices. And that is that. These have been processed up into fine crumbs, and the duck is done. I will never get over how much fat comes out of those things. Very carefully, and without ruining everything, pour a 1/4 cup of fat from this pan into this little object. Well, that's a cup of fat. Now what? And that's just a taste of it. There's a hell of a lot more in there. I don't need all of that. Just put that off the side for a second. I know it's like liquid gold, right? So lift the duck up, drain even more fat from that. Holy cow. And you go there. 2 shoulders can go here. So let me get rid of this remaining fat. Holy hell. That came out of 1 duck and 2 pig shoulders. What we're gonna do here is the old anti-chef shuffle. Bring this over here. Bring this over here. Those are wieners. 1/2 cup of the bean cooking liquid. Sans bean, please. And then we're gonna deglaze this roasting pan. There's some beans in there. Whoops. Scrape up all the fun and the solidified cooking juices. All the goodies. And all that goes back into the beans. So I gotta get these sausages out of here and the pancetta. Fishing for the bouquet garni, carrot or what's left of it, the leeks, the onion without removing too many of the beans. Unlike Julia Child's recipe, which had triangular shaped pig skin in here, I don't have to worry about that. She says with the pork skin that it will lose itself as it cooks with the beans. I'm just not buying that because I can see all this pork skin and I just don't want that in the dish. So let's just slice this in half here. Okay, I gotta remove the casing from the sausage. I'm aware how humorous the imagery must be, but it does have to be done. Like a snake shedding its skin, rebirth. The sausage is free. 3/4 inch slices, or whatever that is. Sausages can go onto this random plate off to the side. That's what's left of the pancetta. It really just shrunk up. I think there's just a little too much of that fat on the pancetta. If you're gonna make this dish, you can keep the pancetta fat on. Go all out with that, but I think the dish is fatty enough, so just slice some of it off. Just some of it, okay? So 3 inches long, 1/2 inch wide, or as close to those dimensions as you can get. Okay, now the pork. Cut the pork roast lengthwise in half and then into 1 inch slices. Just 1 inch thick slices. These are strips. Shoot. 1 inch thick slices. That's huge. That seems huge to me. This is supposed to be a stew. Yeah, he would have said strips. He means slices like that. Was this widthwise or lengthwise? I've gone stupid. Widthwise. Length. That's the length, right? This is lengthwise for sure, right? Depending on how you're looking at it, yeah. All right, so 1 inch slices. This is what he's saying. And it's just, that's kind of brought me to a standstill. So I think I just have to cut this up into pieces that make sense to me. You're doing 1 inch strips. Now I gotta cut the duck lengthwise. Bones and all. Remove the legs. Oy, the spine. You cut the leg in half. Cut the wing and breastplate into thirds. Right, well, so much fat. Oh yeah. I need to clean this up ASAP before I can't even think straight right now. Be right back. Bowl me. Thank you. All the remaining beans, juices, whatever, that goes into a bowl. Wash this out really quick. Something fell off the freaking counter. Take your big bowl of beans, and I'm gonna start with 1/3 of it onto the base of this Dutch oven. Then a layer of the meat. Start with the sausages and the pancetta, some of the duck, and the pork. More beans. Okay, pancetta, sausages, some of the duck, and the pork. Okay, party on. Party on, everyone. Party on, Jacques. Do a little more beans. Final meat layer, pancetta and sausage, pork. And then I was thinking the 2 wings, the duck on the very top. Push it all down. Cool. And then the remaining beans. Right? Imagine I did all that wrong. Okay, well that's all she wrote for that. It's a freaking heavy freaking thing there. Move this behemoth aside for a second. So do you remember the breadcrumbs? I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup of this duck fat here and pour it on top to moisten them. Yeah, spread them over the entire surface of the beans. I remember last time I did this with the Julia Child one, I think I went a bit too heavy with the breadcrumbs, but this looks perfect this time. Okay, so with all your might, lift the almighty cassoulet into the oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. Hold steady, oven rack. And looking for a crust to form on the top. After around 20 minutes, I'm gonna break up the crust with the spoon. Pushing the first crust into the dish gives the beans a crunchy, nutty taste. That's good to know, but I don't wanna go too crazy with that because with the Julia Child recipe I did so, and I found that the breadcrumbs just soaked up all of the stew, all the liquid. I'm gonna leave that in the oven to form a new crust. After another 30 minutes, I'm gonna turn the broiler on, get a really good crust on top. I think that should do it. Order up. Just had to lie down for like 20 minutes there. The thing knocked the air out of me. It's rich, heavy, meaty. So the stock that I made from the beans and all the other stuff that I packed in there created such... It is insane how good it was. Yeah, it's as heavy as it sounds. That's... Trying to wrap my head around this thing. I guess depending on how big of a bite you take, you might be able to get the duck, the pork, the pancetta, and the sausage all together, all at once, in one bite. That's an incredible feat. Surprisingly, I think the highlight for me, I didn't see this coming, was the breadcrumbs just like soaked in that duck fat. And it runs through the whole dish at that point. It's got like a nutty, sweet flavor going on with it, and it's rich, but everything was rich. So now what happened with the Julia Child cassoulet happened here, where the liquid just gets absorbed in everything. So yeah, that's really thickened up, which is fine. I'm thinking when I'm eating the leftovers for the next decade, I will be toying around with adding stock or water in there just to bring it back to life a little, so that it's not just a sludge. Do I like Julia's cassoulet or do I like Jacques? It's got a little more special quality when it has the duck in it, I think. So I'm gonna lean towards Jacques. Imperative that I go lie down now. So this was Jamie and Jacques. Bon appetit and sweet dreams.